Welcome to One Brothas Mind, and I am KD Smooth. Today we will question and challenge popular information and views from a B1 perspective, while we expose the real facts you need. We do this to strengthen your logical, critical, and discerning thinking skills. Because in today's world, hard choices are mandatory and they come with consequences. So you need all the information. And at One Brothas Mind, we do this from a B1 Yeshua the Christ followers perspective. Now, if you're not ready, you better get ready with KD Smooth at One Brothas Mind. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's KD Smooth back at you with a new report. I hope you all are well. Family, actually, this is an update report on our brother, what's going on with our brother Kyrie and this whole foolishness, nonsense. I want to say some really, really bad other descriptive words, but y'all get it. Yeah, there's been a little bit of some updates that have trickled out since where this situation was last with Kyrie being suspended. So I wanted to give you guys an update real quick. I promise y'all this is gonna be quick. and we'll go from there. So if you haven't heard, family, hit the like button and make sure you share this report on all your social media with all your peoples. And be sure to be subscribed to One Brothas Mind, because we try to bring you the information and facts you need. All right. So this is what we hitting on today. Y'all seen the thumbnail. Yeah, all these people have had something to say, or something new kind of to say about our brother Kyrie in this situation, as well as many others, as you guys already know. But I want to share with you, family, what kind of these new updates to this situation, and we're going to dig in. Now, here's what we're going to do. I got some audio from two different interviews. The first will be from an interview on ESPN with Stephen A. Smith and Tim Legler on this issue, on one aspect of this issue. And the second audio will be from Club Shay Shay, our boy Shannon Sharp. He had NBA legend John, excuse me, family. He had NBA legend John Sally on Club Shay Shay, and he asked John Sally about this issue. Yeah, wait till you hear this. And then we're going to finish up with the recent press release statement that Ron Dalton Jr. put out on this issue as well. And yeah, your boy Kareem was in there. Y'all gonna see. Let's get right on into this, okay? So first, again, I'm gonna play an audio clip from this discussion on between Stephen A. Smith and Tim Legler on ESPN. All right, here we go.
Those steps have raised some eyebrows among other players around the league, and the Players Union is considering an appeal. NBPA Vice President Jaylen Brown telling the Boston Globe. On Monday, Brown is quoted as saying, "I'm expecting the NBPA to appeal the suspension from Brooklyn, the terms, etc., that went into his return, the terms for his return. They seem like a law, and a lot of players express discomfort with those terms." Okay. Tim, good morning. Thank you for being with us. I'll get to you in just a second. Stephen A., your thoughts on this potential appeal?
I 1,000% agree with Jaylen Brown. I stand with him. And I know that's saying a lot, because we know how critical I can be and have been of Kyrie Irving. But this is excessive. The fact of the matter is that right now you're engaging in emasculation based on the reports about how the Nets have a checklist of things that they need Kyrie Irving to do. Okay, now be clear, Tim Legler. He brought it on himself. I'm fully knowledgeable about that. Him putting out a tweet, supporting a film with anti-Semitic tropes and stuff like that was inexcusable. It was insensitive. It was juvenile. It was stupid. Okay? And the kind of heat that he's brought upon himself thus far is self-inflicted and largely, if not entirely, of his own volition. So he deserves it. But now you're going a step too far. Okay? The man apologized. All right? He's been suspended. And that. Now you as an organization have to make, do you want him on your team? Do you keep him on the rest of the year? Or you can elect to let him go while making him sit home and you have to pay him unless you trade him. It's that simple. But to sit up there and to have these lists of conditions that he has to do, I think what you're trying to do is elevate the level of embarrassment that is being thrown in his direction and, dare I say, emasculate him.
Nothing compares to the cloud Messiah.
Sorry about that, family. We got colonizers invading our broadcast. I'm going to banish them here in just a couple seconds, and we will get back to
embarrassment that is being thrown in his direction and, dare I say, emasculate him, which is why Jaylen Brown has spoken up, which is why black people are going to raise holy hell about that, and which is why I'm going to be one of those folks leading the chorus to raise holy hell about that. Leave a man alone. Keep him on a team or let him go. Suspend him, bring him back. But when you start talking about, well, he needs training and all of that, wait a minute now. The fact of the matter is he apologized. He acknowledged, albeit a bit too late as far as I'm concerned, he still apologized, acknowledged that he's not anti-Semitic, okay, that he made a mistake in putting the film out there, okay. Of course, when the owner reaches out to you, you should respect this man that's paying you and reach back out to him. Of course, Joe Tsai should demand, we have to meet and have a conversation before I let you back on his team. That is reasonable. That is understandable. But to then try to articulate that he needs to go through sensitivity training and all of this other stuff, now you really digging it in. It's unnecessary. It's uncalled for. If the Anti-Defamation League wants to raise holy hell about that, and they want that, and they request that of Kyrie Irving, that's between them and Kyrie Irving. Last time I recall, Josiah is not Jewish. Josiah is an owner for the Brooklyn Nets. You want him on the team or you don't. But to sit there and highlight and articulate these processes that he must go through, it seems to be a bit pouring on. I don't appreciate it. I don't like it. It's a bit excessive. And that's what I wanted to say about it. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, all right. Well, first, listen, there's a lot of layers to this story, right? So let's start with the Jaylen Brown comments. I completely agree with you, Stephen A. When you look at the list of things that the Nets are asking him to do, there is no question that they are trying to now really stick it to Kyrie and make sure that there are so many conditions to it that, like you said, you're basically asking him to completely capitulate to the organization, right? That's what they're asking him to do. And look, make no mistake about it, I expect there to be an appeal because that's their job, right? The NBPA represents the players. It's their client. It's no different than like a criminal defense attorney. You're going to defend your client. That's what the NBPA should do. In almost every case, they're going to appeal it. So that's nothing crazy. And some people are criticizing the NBPA for taking that stance. I don't. That's their client. That's who they represent. They're going to do everything they can to try to mitigate what the Nets are asking Kyrie Irving to do. Having said all of that, I think the only reason Kyrie Irving is in this position that they're asking so many things is because of his reaction to Joe Tsai. Joe Tsai is the top of the food chain in the organization, and I think if Kyrie Irving has a major problem in how he handled this, it's because he did not give that man the respect he deserves. If he had handled that in the beginning, I do not think the Nets would be asking all of these conditions of Kyrie Irving. So you point out he brought it on himself. We both agree on that. We both also agree on this is a little bit extensive, what they're asking him to do, but he could have avoided it if he had just communicated with the owner. That's the guy that cuts the checks. And Kyrie Irving, I think, does not want to be accountable to anybody. Sometimes when you have wealth, you've got notoriety, you've got fame, you think you're not accountable to anybody. Well, that's not the way it works when you are in an organization. There's a hierarchy there, and he has to answer to that man. And if he had just communicated with him, I think he could have avoided a lot of this. But now it's taken a turn, and we're going to see this is really a giant game of chicken. And they're trying to get Kyrie Irving to cave on this. And let's see how far he is willing to take this and how long he is willing to sit out, trying to make sure he does not do the things that the Nets are asking him to do. But I think he could have avoided it if he hadn't disrespected Joe Tsai. So that's the other layer to this. It's their relationship and the disrespect that he showed the owner. And I think that's really what this is about on the part of the Nets. I think he could have gotten away with the apology that he issued and get back to playing basketball. But the fact that he didn't do a verbal apology and he did not communicate with the owner and repeatedly ignored him over a period of days has put him in this position now where they're going to make him extra accountable to the organization. And I really think that's what this is. There's a little bit of pride there on both sides that's taking place.
See, the interesting part about it is, Tim, is I don't disagree with anything that you said. You're right on point with it. What I'm saying is let's get to the real crux of the matter. Everything that you said, I've said what I had to say, you said what you had to say, and you're right on point. There's no disagreement between you and I in that regard. What I'm saying is that...
Tell me Russ and Patrick...
To return.
Okay, family. Yeah. These idiots, family. First off, no, Stephen A. don't get no brownie points for any of this. Bump him, okay? First off, and I've said it in my previous reports on this issue here with Kyrie, what you have to understand first, the context. Every so-called journalist and commentator, so-called sports figure, ex-sports figure, all of them are doing one thing, and that's committing journalism blasphemy, if you will. They are providing a report or an opinion or commentary on an issue that they are 100%, I repeat, 100% ignorant about. They ignorant. They have no knowledge of the issue at hand. But yet they're still providing a report. None of them have seen the documentaries. None of them have read the books. Which is why you see such a huge backlash, ground swelling building from the black community, which comes in a couple of different groups. One, there's those of us that already have this belief based on this biblical information that we are the true descendants of the black Hebrew Israelites from the tribe of Judah. Then there's the other huge new chunk of black people that since this issue came out, since Kyrie posted this link, which is all he did was post a link, many more black people have gone out, reviewed the documentary, reviewed the books, and are now also in agreement with this infallible scriptural truth. Many more people, many more black people now understand. They get it now. Prior to Kyrie posting this, most of those of us in the black Hebrew Israelite community, those of us that strictly and only promote primarily the scriptural truths and facts about this issue, most other black people were ignoring us. Family, friends, preachers, pastors, you name it. They were ignoring us. We've been trying to communicate these biblical truths for quite some time. But now since Kyrie posted this, and this has become an issue, many more black people who were previously trying to ignore this issue wouldn't listen to whoever it was that was trying to share this issue with them, especially if they were trying to share primarily biblical facts, indisputable biblical facts on this issue. Now, many, hundreds of thousands of more people, of black people especially, now are starting to get it, and they're now understanding. Okay? So, by committing this journalism blasphemy, Stephen A., Shannon Sharp, whoever it is, you got NBA Hall of Famers talking slick, you got none of them still, even before their comment or report or response or opinion, none of them have reviewed this information. And if they have, they're purposely lying, and that's what you call a sellout. Okay? What occurred, as I mentioned before my previous report on this, you had the masters, their slave masters, in regards to the mainstream media, which I'm praying y'all know who owns most of mainstream media. No? I'll tell you. It's those that call themselves Jews. The Jewish group. Okay? So those masters put out basically an edict, a echo chamber report that all of the various commentators, opinions, the journalists, so-called journalists, people, anybody talking on mainstream media about this issue had to follow this slave master's echo chamber report that was put out, or of course they would be fired. They would lose their job. Okay. Now, you notice many of them, in an attempt to keep their jobs, they just have said nothing. Because they either know or they wanted to take time to inform themselves, review the documentary, review the books, see what the problem is, and educate themselves before they had a comment. There's a whole lot of people in mainstream media that have not had a comment yet, because primarily that's what they're hopefully attempting to do, or they just don't want to get involved. But all the other loudmouths, they are being exposed for they have no journalism integrity at all. They're just blurting out what the slave masters, what their masters are forcing them to say. And they catching heat from the black community. Like I said, the two groups, those of us that were already in this walk, in this belief, and then all the hundreds of thousands of more black people going, wait a minute. Not only is this information biblically true, based on biblical, infallible information and facts, but where's the anti-Semitism in it? Where's that at? In addition, they're going, hold on. Are you trying to say because, whether it be in the documentary or in the books, the creator made mention or reference to that there are, and I'm summarizing here, family, there are reports, in quotes, there are reports, and this is a quote, a summary quote. There are reports that Hitler said this, that, and the third. He didn't say Hitler said that. He didn't present it as fact or information. He said there are reports of this having been said. That's it on the Hitler thing. If you didn't know, if you haven't been able to find it, it's so quick, it's so fast, it's not emphasized. It's just like, hey, y'all do know so-and-so reportedly said this. And he moved on. Okay? So, if that, a lot of y'all, that's what they're hanging their hat on. the people that call themselves Jews. Okay? So, again, none of these commentators, people with opinions, whatever, none of them have watched and reviewed the information, followed up with it, confirmed the biblical evidence and facts. And for those of y'all that have reviewed the documentary, y'all understand. Dude went far. He started with biblical information and used it all throughout, but he went through archaeology, paleontology, linguistics. I mean, he went ham on the evidence. Okay? So this clearly identifies and highlights to you, if you didn't know before now, what's wrong with mainstream media. And this is the exact same problem throughout mainstream media. They're told what to say. You're not getting a honest opinion or view. You're not getting that. You almost never are getting that because they're told what to say because somebody else is signing their paychecks. Okay? So y'all heard from Legger, now they want to talk about, the Nets is asking for too much, too many requirements, and they're trying, basically, the Nets are trying to have Kyrie kiss this side of there, and that side of there, and up the crack of there, and everywhere else. That's basically what's happening. Which I agree, obviously. Really? Nah, bruh. It ain't happening. So, that's the issue on what Stephen A. and Tim Legler had to say. There's a whole gang of players that have not made public statements, but as they alluded to, are in support of this. They're going, nah, this is too much, which is also why the NBA Players Association is getting involved with this. So we're going to see where this goes as far as that goes. What I believe will happen is they're going to come to a settlement with the Nets. They're going to get rid of most of this extra kiss the crack of my stuff. They're going to get rid of all of that. He's apologized publicly in a statement he released. He just didn't verbally say it. He's served his suspension. You either are going to have to bring him back to the team or trade him or let him go. Okay? So we'll see what happens there, family. Now, I got an additional audio clip for you on this issue where Shannon, you gotta review the information. You can't let these people play you like this. You cannot let yourself be played like this. You are doubling and tripling down on their statement, on their required, your slave masters required, words that you supposed to say and view that you supposed to have that was given to you, and you have not reviewed the information. None of them had. Because once you review it, you go instantly go, wait a minute. What? I don't really see a problem. In fact, it's based on scripture. They tricked me. Yes, that's what's happened. You got set up as a pawn. You're being used as a pawn. Okay, so real quick, even on his own podcast show, Club Shay Shay. I'm gonna share with you guys what went down when he asked John Sally about this issue real quick. It's just a couple minutes, and then we'll come back on this topic.
About Kyrie. I know how you feel about Kyrie. We'll talk about him a little later. Kareem was very critical of some of the things that Kyrie said. He's been critical of LeBron lately. What is your position on Kareem or the old guard being critical of some of the young players? Warranted, out of bounds, fair foul?
It was 100% out of bounds.
The one on LeBron or the one on Kyrie?
Especially on Kyrie.
Okay.
And so we could speak on it. I think this was the reason. I think somebody, along with him, is saying to him, if you want to get things going and become relevant and be able to garner money where they bring you in and you got to say something that is asinine.
Mm-hmm.
You have.
Okay, once again, even Sally is saying that he believes that them slave masters got to Kareem and said, if you want to start being included, you got to say this. And he came out and started talking real slick about this situation and Kyrie.
After you, in order to be in this system of media, controversy and conflict and
okay, we got the colonizers again, family, that have invaded, and we are going to banish them immediately. All right, here we go, back in it.
A scandal is celebrity now. You understand what I'm saying? So to say that the school system has let Kyrie down, is saying your Duke education is useless. But
okay, real quick, family. I'm sorry I keep stopping, but I want to make sure you really understand what John Sally just said. Kareem said the school system has let Kyrie down. In other words, he said that he's saying that Kyrie the programming from our school system didn't stick, didn't make him a slave, didn't indoctrinate him, because Kyrie still is his own man. He thinks for himself, whether you agree with him or not. And that's what Sally is saying. And it's true. But for Kareem to say that, do you really hear how disrespectful that is? Coming from another black person, an elder. And here's the thing, y'all. A whole lot of black elders, our parents, our grandparents, that are still, bless their souls, here with us, and that are looking at this situation, many of them are saying the exact same thing or sentiment that Kareem has said. Do you know why? Because the programming from the educational system of the slave masters stuck and worked with them. They've been indoctrinated. So none of this makes sense to them. They like this why would he go and say that? Boys, you better not say stuff like that. You're going to get us in troubles. You're going to get us in whole lots of troubles. You best come on off around now and get in line over here, boys. Straighten up. That's their perspective. You have to understand that, family. So, I mean, all we can do with them is the best, in my opinion, is be respectful and just don't respond to them. Because if we tell them the truth, or try to at least, it's going to blow up. It's going to be a big argument. And they're going to feel, and most of us will feel like we're being disrespectful to them. So you just got to let them have what their opinion and keep it moving. Like, the black authority says all the time, you can't trust them old ninjas, okay? Because There's more that we understand and know today and have learned, more that's been revealed to us in the generations of today than was to them. Now, yeah, there was some brothers back there in their time holding it down and putting out the same biblical information, making the same point of who we are. But they were even more isolated back then. During their generations and our fathers and our grandfathers' generations, they were even more isolated in regards to this information. Okay? So, our fathers and grandfathers or what have you, grandmothers, whatever, they didn't have access to it for the most part, the information. And again, the slave master's education stuck with most of them. All right? So, Lord have mercy. Are we going to continue? I'm going to try not to stop it because I only got a couple more seconds. There's a couple more things that John Sally says here on Club Shay Say I want y'all to hear. Here we go.
When you say that about education, you mean your programming didn't stick.
Right.
Because Stephen A., my man 50 grand, went in on Kyrie and had COVID twice and barely could walk and thought he was on his deathbed with the vaccine.
Right.
And the boosters.
Right.
Kyrie had none of that.
Right.
Did you hear that? Sally just spit nothing but fire. There was no reason for, hey, y'all that got the ooh-wee, and here at One Brothas Mind, we call that thing they was trying to force everybody to get, including Kyrie, we call that the ooh-wee. If for those of y'all that got the ooh-wee, hey, that was y'all personal health decision, and more power to you. No shade. Hey, y'all made a decision for y'all personal health. Hey, do you? But that's what it was and what it must always be. A personal decision, health decision, not a requirement. Okay? So, just like you get to make your personal decision, someone that does not want the ooh-wee or anything else in regards to their health to be, forced something in their body, they can also make the personal decision, nah, bruh, I'm not doing it. Get that out of here. I'm not doing that. Okay? And many of people who made that decision not to get the ooh-wee, they also, like John Sally said with Kyrie, they never got sick. They never had any problems. But many of the people who did get the ooh-wee, thinking it was going to save you, thinking it was going to protect you because they lied to y'all, it didn't. Y'all got jacked up. Many of y'all. Many people who got the ooh-wee and the boosters and all that, they got deleted. So, don't miss that point that Sally just made. Okay? Once again, it exposes the lies that are being told out here about various different issues and situations. Don't always buy into the lies, family. All right, now, I want y'all to guess what response your boy Shannon had to what Sally just said. I mean, specifically, Sally saying, well, Kyrie didn't get the ooh-wee, and he was fine. He was healthy, no problems. But Stephen A. did get the ooh-wee and did everything they told him to do, and he almost, at least thought, he was about to be deleted. Watch Shannon's programmed slave master response. Here we go.
Right.
So,
but like the vaccine and booster doesn't guarantee, just like taking the mumps or the chicken pox or all those vaccines doesn't guarantee taking a flu shot.
I'm a vegan.
Okay. Did y'all hear that? It don't guarantee like the rest of them. No, bruh. No, bruh. What he's trying to gloss over and not say anything about is the fact that the original ooh-wees and the original definition of the ooh-wees was that they prevented you from getting this or that or the third. The polio ooh-wee, the chickenpox ooh-wee, and several of the other ones, those previous, the original ooh-wees that most of us got, say, from the 1990s and going back in history, those ooh-wees, they did prevent you from getting it. The problem was with this new ooh-wee, as Shannon correctly stated, oh, well, it doesn't prevent you. It's just a help. It's just to help you. And then they came up with that lie and trickeration after they put this thing that they wanted to call an ooh-wee also. Okay, that was a political move. They labeled it an ooh-wee when it should have been like a treatment or something else. Call it something else. You can't call it ooh-wee because it never fit the definition of an ooh-wee. So much so, they had to update, so-called, wink, wink, lie, lie, the definition of what an ooh-wee has been for decades. Did you catch that, y'all? Okay. Let's continue. It's only a couple. They pretty much done here. Let's get this out.
I started studying veganism in 1991 and became a complete vegan in 2007. Like I lived this lifestyle, so I understood.
Yeah, but you had another 16 years of eating meat. You had done got it all out your system.
Right. So if you get things out of your system, which your system is only right here. So if you get things out of your lower intestines in 60 days, 30 days, shoot, in 11 months, you can have a totally clear system. So knowing that the stronger immune system and the stronger your system is, the better it is against viruses.
What about Kyrie retweeting Alex Jones, a known conspiracist, about Sandy Hook didn't happen? The parents are actors. People lost their kids.
Yeah.
Real quick, family, on that. I know I said we're going to stop it again, but real quick, that's a major argument from those that call themselves Jews or Jewish. So it's literally, Shannon doesn't even have to be sitting there. It could be any of them literally sitting in his chair, because this is exactly what they say. But family, as we know, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So my point with that is, just because someone may have been wrong on this or wrong on that or wrong on this, completely wrong. Alex Jones is insane. Just like Kanye is insane. They all over the place. Okay? But within that, the insanity that they have and all the crazy, insane, wrong stuff that they've said and done over the years, here or there is a nugget, a piece here or there that was actually truth, or you may believe was true. Okay? So the Shannon, following his masters, is putting, just like that reporter did when he asked Kyrie at the press conference about the Sandy Hook stuff. He's like, hold up. I didn't post nothing about Sandy Hook. I didn't make any statements about Sandy Hook. And Kyrie went on and correctly corrected that report. It's like, dude, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That was insane. That was horrible. And anybody that says it wasn't is crazy, like Alex Jones. But what I did post was information that he said almost 30 years ago that I believe is true. That's what I posted. But did you see the sleight of hand there? They didn't ask Kyrie about his post about Alex Jones from the 90s. No. They went after Kyrie about what Alex Jones has been up to recently with Sandy Hook. That's apples and oranges. Yeah, it came from the same person, theoretically, but you're talking about a almost 30-year difference of time between what Kyrie posted about and what that fool Alex Jones is talking about now. Okay? You see what they did there? Again, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Okay? So, man, but this is part of their tactics. They can't respond to the truth. They have to build false narratives and make false made up allegations. And if you don't know, if you're uneducated about what they're talking about, Shannon, Stephen A., and all the other idiots, if y'all don't know, if y'all don't educate yourself on what they're talking about, you become the fool right along with them. Okay? All right. I'm going to play the rest. It's only a couple more seconds. Here we go.
Once again, I don't know if I said it on this show, but social media has destroyed everything. Because stop talking to the peanut gallery. Not that against the black folks are in there, and what you call it. Stop listening. The audience is there to listen to you, right? And to sit around and to talk, just doing things on Twitter, you can get caught up.
Right.
But let me, and it's soon as I see it, soon as I'm the biggest Kanye fan. Soon as I see anything with Kanye that is huge and talked about everywhere, I step back and I look to my right and left. I look around. I go, something's about to happen. Because every time they've used Kanye as an excuse or a distraction, something went down that we were not paying attention to. In this present time, they're talking about White Lives Matter t-shirt, Black Lives Matters, what he's doing, people going back and forth. Yeah. And what's up? What's next?
What are we missing?
I think Africa is upset. There's a war about to happen. There's a straight up war about to happen. Not a war like in Afghanistan where you only see it on the news for 7 seconds and we go back. This one's a real one. These are white folks against white folks. This is a real war. This is World War I and World War II. There's going to be land changers, but they're going to talk about Kanye.
Well, Kanye put that out there. We didn't want to talk about Kanye. You think we like talking about Kanye?
Put it out there. Kanye walked with a shirt on. Everybody walked with a shirt on.
That's why he did it.
Exactly. He knows how to be a distraction. He knows how to make you say yay.
No, I don't say anything because I think that's neither here nor there. I will keep that.
All right. So that's it on that, family. You get the gist. Yeah. And John Solly is absolutely correct. Once again, like I said, he spit nothing but fire. They use and have always used distractions to cover up and distract you from seeing and participating and fighting against what's actually going on. That's of real consequence. Okay? Like you said, there's more wars about to jump off and start. If you've been paying attention, you see the stuff that's being reported. The economy's jacked up. You got the so-called election popping off in the next day or two. The voting, the people that's hanging out at the voting sites with guns. There's a lot going on. The government's working on the potential digital currency. Man, there's so much. There's so much going on, but they want you to be distracted, right? So Yeah. So real quick, family. Lastly, we're going to cover this statement that our brother Ron Dalton, the creator of the series, we're going to cover this statement that he put out. Okay. Real quick, we're going to try to cover it and share it with you because it's not going to get a whole lot of play. So again, on your screen is the public press statement that Ron Dalton just put out. He literally put it out on November 6th. And I'm going to read through it real quick for you. Here we go. Again, from Ron Dalton Jr., the creator of Hebrews to Negros documentaries and book series. It says, I vehemently reject and condemn any forms of prejudice or hatred toward any person, regardless of their race, religion, ethnicity, lineage, ancestry, or sex, as well as violence, racism, bullying, discrimination, black Jew phobia, and the misuse of the term, I'm going to say that again, and the misuse of the term anti-Semitism. Real quick, family, it's the correct term is supposed to be anti-Shemitism, S-H-E-M, because we're Shemites. If you're a descendant of Shem, if you're a Hebrew, if you're an Israelite, the correct term is anti-Shemitism, not anti-Semitism. There's a difference. Okay, let's move forward in Ron's letter. The African diaspora that was sent to the Americas and the Caribbean via the transatlantic slave trade are ethnically the Israelites of the Bible, from the lineage of Shem, which is what I just explained to you. Therefore, myself or anyone today who is a descendant of Shem or the transatlantic slave trade and Shem's 5 sons cannot be anti-Semitic, or what they're incorrectly saying is anti-Shemitic. Okay? As a Shemite, I am against any form of anti-Semitism or anti-Shemitism in America or worldwide. Racist scapegoating, as well as unfair tactics that hold communities of color responsible for societal problems must stop. It is our collective duty to create a society where everyone has the same opportunities, irrespective of their race, religion, ethnicity, or sex. Freedom of speech and freedom of expression should not be seen as infringement, but unfortunately, based on what we have seen lately in the news, this is a sad reality in America. We definitely have more work to do to fix this. The Israelites are dedicated to collaborating with all groups to make it possible for people from all backgrounds to watch the documentary Hebrews to Negros, Wake Up Black America. Just as one might watch the 1977 Roots TV miniseries, which is shown annually every February during Black History Month. In some places. I added that in some places, y'all, because they don't like that being on TV either. The Israelites, I'm sorry, let me skip down one more paragraph here. The mass media relies on promoting exclusivity. There we go, I'm getting tongue-tied. Stroking fear and assigning blame to those that go against their narratives or their lies. Okay? Everyone should be free. Oh, let me back up. He only said their narratives, y'all. I added their lies. Okay? All right. To continue. Everyone should be free to approach their past without worrying that they will be singled out, vilified, or bullied. I implore everyone to take the time to read my books, watch my movie documentaries, then fact check everything so that we all can have a full understanding of the true history of the black people in the diaspora, which is now being told from a different perspective. Using the study of history, theology, cartography, geography, biology, craniology, odontology, genetics, linguistics, archaeology, anthropology, and more, which he covered in the documentary, y'all. I'm adding, he covered these different aspects in his book series and documentaries, okay? All of those. All right, let's continue. And more, I provide the evidence to substantiate that the information in my visual literary work is indeed factual. Hopefully, after all of this is done, we can begin to forge a nation founded on our complete history. Period. I'm saying our complete truthful history, not his story. Real, truthful history. Okay? And he finishes with, I pray that we are able to continue to bring people together of all backgrounds to embrace historical events and facts that are detrimental to the progression of our society as a whole. Signed, Ronald Dalton Jr., CEO, Hebrews to Negros Films. Okay, family? So, yeah. There you have it. Again, most of these black fools all over social media that they are pushing out for you, they have not seen or reviewed the information. So everything they're saying is ignorant or from an ignorant perspective, or the perspective that they are being forced to report and speak on from their masters. Every one of them. Okay? And again, as I mentioned before, hundreds of thousands of black people are reviewing the documentaries, and there's 2 of them, y'all. Not just the first one. So if you saw the first one, there's a second one, a follow-up, and it's just as killer as the first one, but it covers, and he goes in vast detail in explaining how, and I've literally done a report on this here recently here at One Brothas Mind. So hit the like button and go to One Brothas Mind and watch my report, or you can watch his video documentary series, Hebrews to Negros, Revelations. That's the one that he goes into further detail of the concept that you have to understand, as I explain it. When the Bible says the word Jew in the scripture, in the verses, most of the time, if not every time, you have to read that entire chapter or more so you can specifically identify who is being talked about or identified by that word Jew. It's not always Israelites or blood Hebrews. One quick example, and I showed people that I should have put the map on here, but I didn't. But most of y'all understand that the southern part of Israel, that southern area became known as Judah. That was where the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin, and Levi ended up living, okay? And then the northern part of Israel held the northern 10 tribes, okay? But as you move forward throughout history, if you look at a map where Judah is located, right south, say south or southeast of Judah, is a land called Edom, or the land of the Edomites. Okay? In this one example, as you move through history, especially once the Greeks or the Greek Empire took over that whole area, the land of Judah and the land of Edom, or the Edomites, was brought together. It was merged. The people were merged. And the name changed from Judah and Edom, which another name for the Edomites is the Idumeans. Okay? The name of Judah and the land of the Idumeans merged, and it became known as the land of Judea, specifically because it recognized the merging of two different people groups. So once that merge happened, and afterwards, most of the time when scripture has the word Jew listed, or from Judah, or I'm sorry, from Judea, it's identifying there's true blood Hebrew Israelites here, and then there's also Idumeans, which many of them, once that merger happened, began to call themselves Jews. But it was in name only. It was not a faith-based obedience conversion, or with circumcision for many. Okay? So you have to understand that, family. So again, y'all, I'm gonna leave it there because I can go on and on. Y'all know. And y'all let me know what y'all think about this information, this new update, in the comments. Let's chop it up and we'll see where this goes. Okay? So this concludes this broadcast for One Brothas Mind. We thank you for joining us, and as a part of the new Black media, B1 choices are mandatory and being on code is required. But never fear, Yeshua the Christ is with you always. Shalom.